Right, only to say, welcome to this evening's second session on our services for primary school children. We are recording this session and we will make it available at a later date. So you should have joined this session with your video off and your sound off. You are absolutely allowed to turn your video on. We always like to see faces, but just to make you aware, you may well be captured in the recording of the session. At the end of the session, we aim to leave some time for questions, but we won't be sharing that part of the recording, so we'll edit it so it's just the presentation parts that are shared later on. My name is Becky Baxter. I'm a speech and language therapist and director of speech, language and education in speech and language therapy services, which is very, very technical and sounds very important. I'm not sure I'm technical support this evening. I'm going to hand over to Nicola, who's going to introduce the session, start the session, and then I shall just cover a few bits at the end.
Excellent. Thank you, Becky. So for those who don't know me, I am indeed Nicola Enoch, and I'm the founder and now CEO of Down Syndrome UK. And just to briefly explain, because people aren't always clear, DSUK is our registered charity name. And PADS, which is the initiative many of you will know us through, is our sort of parent-facing community initiative that we started initially just in maternity services. And then as you guys joined and continued, that has remained as our parent-facing. So DSUK, PADS belongs to DSUK. We're one and the same. Thank you, Becky. I'm parent to Tom, who there he was back on his first day going to primary school. I noticed the other day he was wearing Crocs. I'm sure that he snuck that past, but hey ho. Through as he progressed to our local secondary, and many of you who've perhaps been on the journey with us know that Tom's now a qualified fitness coach. That was last summer. He had his qualification. We had a graduation ceremony, as his sister had done when she graduated from uni. And Tom now is living in his own house, just a mile or so from myself, and is very much surprised me and proven all my fears and concerns in the very early days to be complete waste of time and energy. So, but he remains obviously the sort of my inspiration as to why, I set up the charity. So thank you, Becky. So obviously this talk is to parents of children of primary age. So I'm assuming we've got parents potentially sort of little ones from the age of 5 through to 11 or so. Some of you may have been with us for many years. We have a lot of closed Facebook groups through which we provide a huge amount of peer support, and also in some do have experts on hand to provide additional support. As a charity, we do campaign a moderate amount, although predominantly more through the National Down Syndrome Policy Group, through which we got the Down Syndrome Act 2022, excuse me, through Parliament. You may not be aware, but we run a network of regional charities across the country. So when Tom was approximately 1 year of age in 2006, I set up a local group up in Warwickshire, the Ups and Downs, and about 10, 11 years ago, realised that there are all these local groups all doing similar things, but that we could all learn from each other. So for the last 10 years, we've held annual conferences, and many of you may well access a local group. As a national charity, we work, having run one myself, I know how to, that we want to sort of complement those groups and certainly never compete. And certainly for DSUK, where our aim is to plug the gaps in terms of sort of statutory services and what local groups perhaps can't provide. So we provide a fair amount of training. Initially, it started off in maternity care. We have Lou, our training manager, who regularly is delivering training to healthcare professionals, predominantly midwives, but beyond that as well, and into universities to try and challenge some of the outdated attitudes and so on. Some of you may well still be using Makaton with your young person. We do have Makaton training for primary schools. In the early years, we did offer it to parents. It's not something we provide as a service now to parents of primary age. Overall, as a charity, I like to think we provide a pretty extensive range of information and resources that our families and also professionals can access. Thank you. So we have this is a graphic of some of those, in fact, majority, I think, of the sessions that we do provide information on. So these are typically held of an evening. They're online, generally 8 till 9 p.m.-ish. And we tend to have an expert leading on each subject who will present for 40-45 minutes with the opportunity then to for parents to ask questions. Majority of these sessions are recorded, and we've quite recently started offering them DSUK on demand. So if you've missed a session, or you're only just it's becoming relevant to you, you can look on our website, Down Syndrome UK's website, and find access to some of these recordings. We are only just starting to sort of upload them, so they're not all there. But you can see there we cover a wide range, sort of, from health issues around applying for benefits. So for those who have DLA renewals, perhaps, applying for mobility if you didn't get it earlier, but feel now your child may be eligible. We have regular sessions on applying for the DLA. And as your children get older, obviously if parents are 21-year-old, I'm kind of been through that transition from, into adulthood. So we're increasingly running more and more sessions. I appreciate your parents of primary age children, but hopefully it's reassuring for you to know that, you don't fall off a cliff, as I did when Tom hit 18, because as a charity, we're, doing work in that area to provide more resources and information and so on. So that's those information sharing sessions. DLA, actually, I've just covered. So we employ a lady called Lisa, who worked for the Department for Work and Pensions, and she's very nice still. And as I say, you can access, we have pre-recorded videos that you can access online that are free and available at any time, obviously. And then you can attend one of her, I think she does typically one morning a week and then alternates with an evening the following week. So, hopefully people can attend. If they work, they can do the evening one. Thanks, Becky. Toilet training. You may well have heard of our programme Pants for School. So this was something we developed 5 years ago with June Rogers. Bless her, she thought she retired about 4 years ago, but we won't let her go. She loves our community too much, and she's far too great an asset. So I'm holding on to her for as long as we can. So the toilet training program's a 4-step program that we've developed with June, with her sort of extensive experience, and we've developed it really as she's worked with us over the past 5 years or so. And whilst it starts, in an ideal world, we encourage families to introduce it when little ones perhaps sort of 10 to 12 months of age. For those of you with a child a little older, perhaps who isn't yet toilet trained, we do say it's never too late. So we have a closed Facebook group called DSUK Toileting that parents can join. It's one of the few groups, most of our groups we keep very closed as either parents or professionals, but the toileting one is one that we encourage professionals to join too, because certainly it's really important that, those who are with your children, from school and so on, have access to the information too. You may have heard we have a fabulous toilet training boot camp. It's a 4-week online program. The families sign up. They join a closed Facebook group. June provides each family, assuming they provide it with the information, with a sort of target and sort of program aims for the family to work towards. And you have weekly Zooms with June over a 4-week period. I think the next one is in November. So if you are interested, do please take a look and sign up. Thank you. And now I shall hand over to Becky Baxter. What a lot of these.
Thank you. Yeah, Becky Baxter's behaviour
boot camp from Becky Baxter.
So just to let you know that we run these boot camp sessions for parents of primary age children. They involve 2 pre-recorded sessions, so you get some information videos come to you. Think about the sorts of behaviours that you may be seeing, some strategies that might be supportive, and about developing a behaviour plan. nobody knows how to develop a behaviour plan at the beginning. That's part of the boot camp. So don't panic about that. But once you've had that information, you've had a chance to have a look at the behaviour plan, send us kind of what behaviours that you might be experiencing. We then have 4 live sessions across 4 weeks, one a week. And those are not recorded. So obviously we're talking about your own parents' experiences and your children. But they're a group of about 12 to 15 parents, and we go through a bit of a structure. So in the first and second session, we look at the behaviour plans. We go through all of the different sections. So typically parents put in kind of the behaviours that they're experiencing. If they've noticed any patterns, some may have some not thought about that so much yet. We then think about how you might prevent the behaviours, and very importantly, what you're going to teach them to do instead. And that's a really important part of a behaviour plan and often gets missed out. If you want them to not do the behaviour, you're the one you don't want, you've got to teach them something else to do instead. So we spend quite a bit of time going through making sure that everybody has a replacement behaviour and is clear around that, as well as tackling what to do when unwanted behaviour occurs. So in the third session, you send in what we call an ABC chart. So we ask you over the first 2 weeks to just make some observations, thinking about when these behaviours are happening, with who, in what sorts of situations, and then we have a look at those in sessions 3 and 4, looking at any patterns which sometimes people find hard to see themselves when you're in it, but often there are some very clear patterns in those behaviour plans. And then that final session is really tying it all up. First session, normally nobody speaks very much, and by the fourth session we know everybody's history, I think. The other thing I wanted to tell you about is our primary education programme. So we launched this programme at the beginning of the last academic year. So it's been running pretty much for a year now. We're just coming up to our first renewals. And it's a service that is designed to support schools working with children with Down syndrome. That's across a range of settings, whether it be mainstream school or special school, doesn't matter, or in any other kind of setting that you might have your child might be going to. It's a yearly subscription, so the school signs up for a year for £100, and then they have access to the programme from the day they sign up right round to the day the following year. So I think I said earlier, if you sign up on the 16th of October, you would have access round to the 15th of October next year. And once the school sign up, they can add as many staff as they like. And within that programme, they have access to accredited training. So there's a 3-part training session that's really focusing on the team working directly with the pupil. So that'll probably be your class teacher, any teaching assistants, and potentially your SENCO. There is also an additional information session for all staff working in school that we encourage schools to share with the wider staff team, thinking about really ensuring clear and consistent expectations and boundaries across school. We have so much information in there, I cannot begin to cover it, but we cover information regarding a range of health and education needs. So really what we're trying to do is to bring experts together across a range of different fields and put all the information in one place for schools. So schools sign up, they can access information around vision, around hearing, around toilet training, if that's still, the pupil is still going through that. But also we have an OT who runs a number of sessions on there. We have a whole host of different professionals involved, as well as offering information around teaching literacy, numeracy, general teaching in the classroom, thinking about target setting, differentiation, etc., etc. So there's loads on there really. There also is a bank of resources that they can download. So obviously we've got children from reception right through to year 6 accessing the programme, and there's going to be a whole range of abilities and variety in there. And so rather than having one set of resources, the school can then dip in and download what they feel is suitable and relevant to their week, if you like. And the other thing is that we offer ongoing support. So we run monthly drop-in sessions where staff can come along with absolutely any question that they, well, related to teaching people with Down syndrome maybe, but any questions that they like. So it might be around having difficulties with handwriting. It might be thinking about going on a residential trip next term and they want to get some advice around that. It might be absolutely anything. Struggling with speech and language. We encourage them to come along, discuss kind of with somebody who's experienced, but also with other teachers who are in a similar kind of situation. That's just a bit of a kind of glimpse of what's involved in information resources. If you click into any of these things, you get a whole host of information. There's just some examples from the literacy section. So you've got information sheets which are longer than that one page, I can tell you, about teaching things like segmenting and blending. There's a communication strip there, can I have, and for children to use in the classroom, and a topic sheet in terms of one, teaching vocabulary around a topic, but also providing a communication support for the pupil to use with their friends. So that's our primary education programme. We also have another service that we've just launched this term for professionals, which is our, got ahead of myself. We had this service going for a little while. This is our individualised behaviour support service. So we have the Behaviour Bootcamp as an offer for parents. In terms of for school staff, we have our individualised behaviour support service. So it's kind of similar. They get a 2-part training video based on school topics, really, and school information, and but very similarly, they're asked to complete an ABC log and a draft behaviour plan, and then we have a one-to-one meeting with myself and the school team to look at the ABC, any patterns in their ABC logs, look at any functions of why the behaviour is occurring, look at what skills the child needs and what they need to put in place to make sure that the child, 95% of it is around communication, needing communication supports and targeting that interaction with others. Developing that individual behaviour plan, and then they get a plan and resources emailed following the meeting to use in school. Nicola's mentioned the information sharing sessions. This past year, we have launched 2 new ones around speech and language and communication and supporting literacy in the home. So these come up twice throughout the year, but they are part of our on-demand sessions. So once one's run, it's been recorded, and you can access it at any time. They aim to give you practical ideas for strategies and activities you can be doing at home. So the speech and language one is across speech, vocabulary, language combining words, and communication, and then the literacy one covers activities to work on phonics, sight words, reading comprehension, and writing or recording. So those we have put into place, and this is the slide I thought I was looking at just a second ago, which is our new, for this term, SLT training. So we've developed a new course for speech and language therapists, specifically those working with individuals with Down syndrome. We ran an overview course. We've run an overview session a couple of times, and this term we're running this more in-depth course where we are delivering 3 sessions, one promoting and developing speech skills, one on developing vocabulary and syntax, and then the third one is supporting communication and social strengths. They run over a series where we're running one a month. So we have already run the promoting and developing speech skills, but if therapists sign up now, they get access. They obviously can come along to the next 2 sessions live, or get a recording of those, and they get access to the recording of the first one. So what to do now? To make sure that you are kept up to date with the information, services and support that are of interest to you. And we've just said in that brief 20 minutes, there's loads and that's available through our online services. If you sign up to the portal or join the Facebook groups, we will aim to keep you updated with information that's relevant to the age and stage of your child. So we'll be thinking about what we're offering to primary school parents and educators. Similarly, if you follow on social media. The other thing to say is we want to help make sure that those working with your child are aware of the information services and support available to them. So we popped a link in the chat at the beginning of this session. You'll see it there at the bottom. If you complete that with your school's details and your speech and language therapist details, we will email them with the details of the services we've talked about today, and we will continue to keep them updated as long as they are interested, really.